Stop scrolling for a moment. Something is trying to get your attention right now. If this showed up on your screen today, there's a reason your spirit was pulled here. Tell me honestly, have you been feeling strange shifts around you lately? Moments where it feels like life is rearranging itself, even if you can't explain how. Because this November, something rare is opening for the chosen ones, a sudden window of guidance that shows up when you're being pushed toward the next chapter of your life. In this video, we will talk about 6 clear signs that God is getting you right now, signs that appear when your breakthrough is no longer far away, but already entering your life. Maybe you felt your instincts getting sharper, or you're noticing changes in people around you. Maybe doors are opening faster than usual or closing without warning. Whatever you're sensing, it's not random. It's part of a shift that calls you to pay attention. Stay with me because what you're about to hear will help you understand why everything suddenly feels different and why this moment is more important than you think. One of the strongest signs that God is getting you is a sudden sense of inner clarity. It feels like something inside you finally clicks, even if nothing around you has changed yet. You're not confused the way you were before. Instead, your thoughts become sharper and you start understanding what you want, what you don't want, and what no longer fits your life. This clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It shows up naturally, almost effortlessly. You may notice that situations that once felt heavy or complicated now seem simple. Decisions feel easier because your heart isn't arguing with your mind anymore. It's as if a fog has lifted and you can see your next step without needing all the answers at once. For example, you might suddenly feel confident about ending a draining habit, walking away from someone who takes your peace, or moving toward a goal you kept postponing. This kind of clarity is a form of divine guidance. God often speaks through certainty, small but powerful nudges that help you recognize what aligns with your purpose. When you feel this, trust it. It means the path ahead is being prepared for you and you're starting to see it with new eyes. Another sign that God is getting you is when your intuition becomes noticeably louder. It's not a random feeling. It's a steady inner tug that keeps pointing you towards something specific. You might not understand why you feel it, but the pull is undeniable. It shows up as a quiet voice, a sudden knowing, or a feeling that won't go away until you acknowledge it. These intuitive nudges often appear during times of transition. Maybe you sense that a certain person isn't good for your peace anymore, or you feel urged to take a step you've been avoiding. Sometimes it comes as a warning, other times as a push toward an opportunity. You might feel uncomfortable staying where you are, even if nothing looks wrong on the outside. That discomfort is guidance. It's meant to move you. God uses intuition to redirect chosen ones when something better is ahead. It can show up in everyday moments too, a thought that repeats, a sudden hesitation, or a strong pull toward a new path. When these feelings become more frequent and harder to ignore, it's a sign that you're being guided toward a breakthrough. Pay attention, they're leading you somewhere meaningful. A major sign that God is getting you is when opportunities start appearing out of nowhere. These aren't the results of forcing things or chasing people. They come naturally, at the right moment, and often when you least expect them. It might be a message from someone you haven't spoken to in years, a sudden offer, a chance to learn something valuable, or an unexpected opening that matches exactly what you've been praying for. These opportunities often feel too perfectly timed to be random. Maybe you've been stuck for months, and suddenly the right person shows up with the right information. Or you've been waiting for a sign, and you receive news that pushes your life forward. Even small chances, like meeting someone who inspires you or finding a resource you needed, can be part of this divine alignment. God uses opportunities to confirm that you're moving in the right direction. When doors open with ease, it's a sign that the path is being cleared for you. And even if the opportunity feels small, it can lead to the bigger breakthrough you've been sensing. When these moments start showing up more frequently, take them seriously. They're part of your divine guidance system. Another powerful sign that God is getting you is when your emotional healing starts happening faster than usual. You may notice that things which once hurt deeply no longer control your mood the same way. Old wounds lose their power, and painful memories don't feel as heavy as before. Instead of holding on to the past, you find yourself letting go without forcing it. This type of healing often arrives quietly. You might wake up one morning and realize you're no longer bothered by someone's behavior, or you no longer feel attached to a situation that once consumed you. It's not that you forget what happened, you just stop carrying it. The weight starts to feel lighter, and you regain energy you didn't even know you lost. You may also notice that you react differently to challenges. Instead of breaking down the way you used to, you stay calm, grounded, and more mature in your responses. This is a sign of inner strength being restored. God often heals your heart before He opens the breakthrough window because you need clarity, not emotional heaviness, to move forward. When emotional healing happens faster than expected, take it as confirmation. You're being prepared for something bigger, and your spirit is getting ready for the next chapter. A clear sign that God is guiding you is when you start naturally letting go of the people, habits, and environments that no longer match your growth. This release doesn't come from anger or disappointment. It comes from a quiet understanding that certain things can't go with you into your next season. You may feel yourself drifting away from relationships that drain you, routines that keep you stuck, or mindsets that limit your potential. This shift can be surprising because it often happens without effort. You might suddenly lose interest in conversations that once entertained you, or feel uncomfortable in places where you used to feel at home. Your spirit becomes more selective, and your energy becomes more sensitive. It's like an internal filter gets activated, removing anything that blocks your peace or slows your progress. Sometimes this release shows up as distance, closure, or a gentle ending. Friendships fade, certain opportunities fall away, or you no longer feel attached to old dreams. It's not loss, it's alignment. God clears your path so you're not carrying unnecessary weight when the breakthrough arrives. When you feel this shift, trust it. It means you're being moved into a higher place, and only what strengthens your purpose is allowed to continue with you. A strong sign that God is guiding you is when new, uplifting people begin entering your life at the perfect time. These connections don't feel forced or complicated. They feel natural, peaceful, and meant to be. You might meet someone who understands you instantly, or someone whose advice feels surprisingly helpful. Sometimes it's a mentor figure, a friend with similar values, or even a stranger who says something that shifts your mindset. These new connections often show up right when you are releasing old attachments. It's God's way of replacing what was removed with something healthier and more aligned with your growth. You may notice that these people encourage your progress, support your healing, and push you toward your purpose. They bring calmness instead of chaos, clarity instead of confusion. You can identify these connections by how they make you feel. There's a sense of ease, honesty, and mutual respect. You don't feel drained, you feel strengthened. Conversations flow smoothly, and you feel seen in a way you didn't before. When God is preparing you for a breakthrough, He sends people who match the direction you're moving in. These connections are not accidents. They're signs that you're stepping into a better, brighter, and more guided season. When God is guiding you, your spiritual sensitivity becomes noticeably stronger. You start picking up on things you would have ignored before, small signs, subtle feelings, or sudden insights that stand out more than usual. It's like your inner awareness sharpens, and you're able to sense when something is right, wrong, or about to shift. This sensitivity isn't overwhelming. It's gentle, steady, and surprisingly helpful. You might notice you're becoming more aware of people's intentions. Someone's tone or energy tells you more than their words ever could. You recognize when a situation feels off and when something feels safe or aligned. This helps you avoid unnecessary problems and makes your decisions feel more guided. You could also find yourself connecting more deeply with prayer, reflection, or quiet moments. Your heart becomes more responsive, and you find meaning in experiences that once felt ordinary. Messages through dreams, repeated numbers, or random thoughts may feel more significant, not because you're overthinking, but because your spirit is more open. This heightened sensitivity is God's way of preparing you for what's coming next. When your awareness increases, it becomes easier to notice the direction you're being pushed toward. It's a sign that you're spiritually awake and aligned for the breakthrough ahead. One of the clearest signs that God is guiding you is when timing starts lining up in unexpected ways. Things begin happening at moments that feel strangely perfect, almost too perfect to call coincidence. You might be thinking about something you need, and suddenly the right solution appears. Or you may reach a point of frustration, and right then, a breakthrough or answer shows up without warning. Divine timing often reveals itself through delays that suddenly make sense. Maybe something didn't work out before and you felt discouraged, but now you can clearly see why it had to happen later. The timing protects you, aligns you, and positions you for something better than what you were chasing. Instead of feeling blocked, you start realizing that everything has been unfolding with purpose. You may also notice that when something isn't meant for you, it falls apart quickly, while the things that are meant for you come together with surprising ease. This contrast helps you understand where your energy should go and what you should let go of. When timing becomes this precise, it's a strong sign that God is arranging your steps. You're not just moving through life by chance, your path is being guided with intention, preparing you for the breakthrough that's on its way. A major sign that God is guiding you is when you begin feeling a strong pull toward change, even if you're not sure where it's leading yet. It's that quiet but persistent feeling that something in your life needs to shift. You might not have the full picture, but you can sense that staying where you are no longer feels right. This inner pull often shows up before any external change happens, preparing your heart for what's coming next. You may feel drawn toward a new direction, like starting something fresh, moving on from a routine, or stepping into a new role. Sometimes it shows up as restlessness. You feel uncomfortable repeating the same patterns or staying in spaces that no longer grow you. Other times, it feels like excitement, even if you don't fully understand why. This pull is God's way of moving you away from stagnation and toward purpose. He stirs your spirit before shifting your surroundings so you're mentally and emotionally ready. You might find yourself thinking about the same idea repeatedly or feeling a strong urge to take action that you've been delaying. When this inner pull gets stronger, trust it. It's not random, it's a sign that you're being moved toward a chapter that fits who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Another powerful sign that God is guiding you is when you begin feeling an unexpected sense of peace in situations that once overwhelmed you. It's not that your challenges disappear instantly, it's that they no longer shake you the way they used to. Where you once reacted with fear, frustration, or anxiety, you now respond with calmness and clarity. This peace shows up quietly. You may find yourself handling a difficult conversation without feeling drained. A problem that would normally keep you up at night suddenly feels manageable. Even in uncertainty, you feel steady, almost as if something within you is saying, "You're protected. You're going to be okay." This shift isn't something you create on your own. It's a sign of divine reassurance. Sometimes this peace comes right before a breakthrough, almost like a spiritual signal that the storm is ending. Other times, it appears in the middle of a challenge, reminding you that your strength is growing and you're no longer controlled by fear. This inner calm is one of the clearest signs of guidance, because real peace isn't based on circumstances. It's a gift that arrives when you're aligned with the direction God is taking you. When you feel this kind of peace, trust it. It means you're being carried through your transition with protection and purpose. Another strong sign that God is guiding you is when certain conversations suddenly start matching the very thoughts or questions you've been carrying inside. It can feel almost shocking how perfectly timed these moments are. Someone might say something that answers what you've been praying about, or a casual comment may bring the clarity you didn't even ask for out loud. These confirmations often come from unexpected people, someone you barely know, a coworker, a relative, or even a stranger online. They may not realize the impact of their words, but what they say hits your heart in exactly the right way. It feels intentional, meaningful, and perfectly aligned with what you needed to hear. You might notice patterns too. Different people start repeating similar advice, reminding you of the same message, or bringing up a topic that keeps circling back to your spirit. When the same themes appear through multiple conversations, it's usually not coincidence, it's direction. These moments guide you gently. They remind you that you're not walking blindly. God is sending you signals through the people around you. When conversations consistently reflect your inner thoughts or give you answers at the right moment, take them seriously. They are signs that you're being guided toward the path meant for you. Another sign that God is guiding you is when your dreams or everyday signs start carrying clearer meaning than usual. These dreams aren't random or confusing, they feel purposeful, memorable, and emotionally strong. You may wake up with a sense of understanding, as if the dream was trying to show you something important about your path, your relationships, or your next step. Signs in daily life also become more noticeable. You might repeatedly see certain numbers, phrases, or symbols that seem connected to what you're currently going through. You may come across messages that match your thoughts, hear something that speaks directly to your situation, or encounter reminders that feel perfectly timed. These moments stand out because they arrive when you need reassurance, direction, or confirmation. The meaning behind these signs becomes clearer because your spiritual awareness is higher. Instead of ignoring them, you feel drawn to pay attention. They help you sense where you're being guided and encourage you to trust the process. When dreams and signs carry this kind of clarity, they're not coincidences. They're gentle messages meant to guide your spirit. They remind you that you're being watched over, supported, and directed toward the breakthrough that's forming behind the scenes. A powerful sign that God is guiding you is when you begin to feel a quiet sense of protection surrounding your life. Even if you're facing challenges, you don't feel abandoned or exposed the way you once did. Instead, there's a steady inner feeling that you're being watched over and kept safe from situations that could harm your peace or your progress. You may notice that certain problems never escalate the way you feared. People who could have caused you stress suddenly distance themselves. Opportunities that weren't good for you fall through before they trap you. Even setbacks feel strangely controlled, as if something prevented them from becoming worse. This isn't luck, it's protection. Sometimes you'll feel this protection through a strong inner no, getting you away from decisions that could delay your growth. Other times, it shows up as calmness in the middle of chaos. You might look back on situations and realize you were removed from harmful environments at just the right moment. This sense of safety isn't loud, it's steady and reassuring. It reminds you that you're not walking alone and that every step of your journey is being covered. When you feel this protective presence, it's a sign that God is guiding you with care, making sure you reach the breakthrough that's being prepared for you. A powerful sign that God is guiding you is when blessings that were delayed for months or even years suddenly start showing up. These blessings don't arrive randomly, they appear at the exact time you're ready to handle them. What once felt stuck or blocked begins to move forward smoothly, almost as if something finally shifted in your favor behind the scenes. You may notice that situations you prayed about begin unfolding with surprising ease. A door that stayed closed for a long time opens without effort. A plan that kept failing suddenly works. A dream you nearly gave up on starts gaining life again. These moments feel refreshing, comforting, and deeply validating. They show you that the delay wasn't denial, it was preparation. Delays often protect you from stepping into things before you were emotionally, mentally, or spiritually ready. When the blessing finally appears, it fits your life in a healthier way. You're stronger, clearer, and better positioned to appreciate and maintain it. This shift in timing reminds you that God never forgets what you're waiting for. When old prayers begin to unfold at the perfect moment, it's a sign that you're aligned with His timing, not your own. These long-awaited blessings are confirmation that you're moving into a season where things finally start working out for you. A clear sign that God is guiding you is when obstacles that once felt impossible begin to lose their power. These aren't small inconveniences. These are the same issues that kept you stuck, stressed, or discouraged for a long time. Suddenly, they start shifting. Problems ease up. Blockages fade. Complications work themselves out without the struggle you expected. You might notice that a situation you've been worrying about becomes surprisingly simple to solve. A financial pressure lightens, a conflict cools down, or a repeated setback stops showing up. Even misunderstandings or delays that held you back begin clearing automatically. It feels like something is removing the weight from your shoulders, step by step. This shift doesn't happen because you forced it. It happens because the season has changed. God lifts certain obstacles when you're ready to move forward, when the lesson is learned or the timing becomes right. What once drained your energy no longer has the same grip on you. Sometimes the obstacle disappears entirely. Other times, the solution arrives so quickly that it leaves you wondering why it ever felt so heavy. When long-standing challenges begin to lift on their own, take it as a sign that God is clearing the path ahead of you. It means progress is coming, and nothing that once blocked you will stop your breakthrough now. A strong sign that God is guiding you is when your motivation suddenly comes back after a long period of feeling stuck or drained. It's that moment when you wake up with new energy, fresh ideas, or a level of determination you haven't felt in a while. You're not forcing yourself, you simply want to move again. This shift often surprises you because it arrives at a time when you least expect it. You might notice yourself feeling excited about tasks you've been avoiding. Something inside you pushes you to clean your space, fix old problems, restart a project, or finally take action on goals that once felt too heavy. Even small responsibilities feel more manageable. This isn't random. It's a sign that your spirit is strengthening and preparing for forward movement. God restores motivation when it's time for you to rise again. He reignites that spark so you can step into opportunities that are coming your way. This renewed energy helps you break old patterns, rebuild confidence, and see possibilities instead of obstacles. When your motivation returns like this, pay attention. It's a sign that your breakthrough season is beginning to take shape. Your spirit is waking up, your direction is becoming clearer, and you're being prepared to walk into the next level of your life with purpose and strength. A meaningful sign that God is guiding you is when people around you start showing their true intentions, whether good or bad. Masks begin to slip, and you start seeing others more clearly than before. This clarity isn't meant to hurt you, it's meant to protect you. When you're stepping into a breakthrough season, God removes the confusion around relationships so you know exactly who belongs in your next chapter. You may notice subtle shifts. Someone who always acted supportive may reveal jealousy or resentment. A person you trusted might become distant or act strangely. On the other hand, someone you barely noticed may suddenly show genuine care, honesty, or loyalty. These changes help you understand who values you and who was only meant to be temporary. This exposure usually happens during times of spiritual growth. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the more people around you feel the shift, even if they can't explain it. Some will celebrate you, others may pull away or behave in ways that don't match their previous behavior. Take these moments seriously. They are signs of alignment. When true intentions come to light, don't ignore them. It's God's way of removing hidden distractions and bringing trustworthy people forward. This clarity helps you protect your peace and continue your journey without unnecessary emotional weight. A strong sign that God is guiding you is when you start feeling a quiet sense of reassurance, almost as if someone is watching over you. This feeling doesn't come from fear or imagination. It comes from a deep inner calm that shows up when you need it the most. Even in moments of uncertainty, something inside tells you that things will work out, even if you don't know how yet. You may experience this reassurance during stressful times when a wave of peace suddenly settles your mind. It could happen through a comforting thought, a moment of stillness, or a sudden realization that you're not facing your challenges alone. You might even catch yourself thinking, "I don't know why, but I feel protected." That's not random, it's guidance. This sense of being watched over can also show up through small signs. Maybe you hear a message that brings comfort right when you're struggling, or someone reaches out at the perfect moment to check on you. Even simple things, like a feeling of warmth, calm, or emotional support, can be reminders that you're surrounded by divine protection. This reassurance is one of God's gentlest ways of letting you know you're on the right path. It encourages you to move forward with confidence, knowing that you're being guided, covered, and supported through every step of your breakthrough season. A meaningful sign that God is guiding you is when you begin feeling a strong urge to upgrade your environment. This doesn't always mean spending money or making big changes. It starts with a simple desire to create more peace, order, and clarity around you. You may suddenly want to clean your space, organize your belongings, remove clutter, or refresh the atmosphere of your home. It's your spirit telling you that your surroundings need to match the new level you're stepping into. You might notice yourself becoming more sensitive to mess, noise, or chaos. Things that never bothered you before now feel uncomfortable or distracting. This shift is a sign of inner transformation. When your spirit is rising, your environment can't stay the same. It needs to become a place that supports your growth, not one that holds you in old patterns. You may also start craving beauty, comfort, or simplicity. You want your space to feel lighter, calmer, and more aligned with who you're becoming. Even small changes, moving furniture, adding light, or cleaning out old items, can feel spiritually refreshing. This desire to upgrade your environment is not just physical. It reflects a deeper shift happening inside you. God prepares you internally first, then nudges you to adjust the world around you so it can support the blessings and opportunities coming your way. One of the most powerful signs that God is guiding you is when you start feeling a strong, unexplainable belief that something big is on the way. This feeling doesn't come from wishful thinking, it comes from a quiet confidence deep in your spirit. Even if your circumstances look the same, you sense movement, you sense preparation, you sense that your life is shifting, even if the change hasn't appeared yet. This inner belief can show up in simple ways. You might wake up with a renewed sense of hope, even after a difficult week. You may feel unusually optimistic about your future without knowing the specific reason. Sometimes you just know that you're entering a new chapter and that this chapter will be better than what you've experienced before. This belief becomes stronger as old things fall away and new energy begins to rise within you. It's a spiritual signal that you're aligned with a coming breakthrough. God often places this feeling in your heart so you don't lose faith while He works behind the scenes. It acts as a reminder that your story is moving forward, even when you can't see every step. When this inner knowing becomes consistent, trust it. It's not your imagination, it's God preparing your spirit for the blessings, opportunities, and changes that are getting ready to enter your life. As you've seen throughout this video, when God begins guiding a chosen one, the signs don't show up by accident. They appear with purpose, timing, and intention. If even one of these signs connected with your heart today, take it as confirmation that a powerful breakthrough window is opening for you. You're being guided, protected, and prepared for a chapter that will make sense of everything you've been carrying. Here at Cosmic Shift, I want you to remember this. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, and you are not moving through this season alone. Every shift you're feeling is shaping you for something greater than you can see right now. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust the way God is positioning you for what's next. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which signs stood out to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely read every one of them. And speak this affirmation with me, then type it below. I am aligned, guided, and ready for my breakthrough. If you feel that truth rising in your spirit, comment it below so it becomes your declaration for this season. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.